We see heat pumps all the time, and then suddenly there's this sense that we're uncertain about whether they're going to work in people's homes. They definitely do work, so we need to just get that certainty and then move forward with it. I work within the Sustainable Future mission, and what we're doing in that mission is around household decarbonisation. I'm working on a couple of areas within that specifically. So in the household decarbonisation piece, what we're focusing on is the decarbonisation of heat, and we're particularly interested in helping people to get heat pumps because we think they're the most likely way that people can decarbonise the heat in their home, so move away from gas. And I'm working on two things within this area. The first one is around the skills and capacity to deliver the heat pumps that we need. I'm also working on other projects around the appeal of heat pumps, thinking about it from a consumer side. In terms of people who I'm tracking in the space, there's an academic called Jan Rosenau whose work I'm really interested in. So he's very active on social media. Another person who I follow is someone whose name I actually had to look up to see because I only know them by their Twitter handle. And he's called Richard Erskine, and his Twitter handle is Essays Concerning. And again, he's someone who writes in some detail about matters which are really important to the area. What we really need is a shift in understanding, a kind of like basically a cultural acceptance of heat pumps, and that will do two things. It will make it more possible for consumers to think getting a heat pump is a kind of a normal upgrade that they would expect to do to their home rather than something which is currently considered to be quite kind of unusual. And it would also take away some of the barriers that installers have to moving into the market, so they wouldn't regard moving into heat pumps as being a kind of strange pivot to their career, but instead a kind of, you know, a kind of a predictable path on the kind of journey of upskilling and career shifting as technologies change. I think the thing that I'd most like to see change in the field is some bringing in of certainty into the domain. So at the moment we're at a place which I think is wrong, which is that heat pumps are being seen as a kind of one of various possible solutions that could be put in place, of which hydrogen is another. At the moment, it's certainly true to say that technologies change, but at the moment, heat pumps are a proven, reliable technology which can be installed now, whilst other solutions, hydrogen and others, may be possible in future but aren't available yet. We know that heat pumps have been used really widely in Northern European countries where they're really successful. We know that everybody's got a heat pump in their home already because they have a fridge. We know that people go into air-conditioned offices or buildings, shops, whatever. We see heat pumps all the time, and then suddenly there's this sense that we're uncertain about whether they're going to work in people's homes. They definitely do work, so we need to just get that certainty and then move forward with it. There's lots of books and podcasts in the area, but I'm going to throw your question on its head a little bit and instead direct people to a website called Pump Chic, which is run by a researcher and academic called Mike Fell, who's based at UCL. So Pump Chic, the reason I direct you to this website is because he's put loads of effort into thinking about how householders can understand what it's like to have a heat pump in their home, and he's created a series of really useful steps that people can follow. So if you as a householder are thinking you might get a heat pump but think it seems a bit strange, it kind of demystifies that process for you. The reason that heat pumps are such an effective way of decarbonising our home heating is because they move heating away from burning gas in the home to consuming electricity. About half of the energy that we use now is produced from zero carbon sources, predominantly renewable, and that has every potential to increase. Hopefully some of the kind of political barriers that have been in the way, particularly of onshore wind, are going to start to fall away. This is all stuff which is happening at the other end of the power lines, and we don't really notice the difference. We just continue paying our bills in the way that we have done. I would, if it's right, give a little plug to an organisation called Ripple, which is a co-op which allows consumers to buy a portion of a wind farm and therefore directly involve themselves in the decarbonisation of the energy grid. So that's something that I plug because I'm kind of really optimistic about the fact that it's not just something that we kind of will sit by and see happen. It's something that we as consumers can make an active difference in. So yeah, I'm kind of really optimistic about this. I think that green energy is happening really fast, and it's a really great thing.